with all this COVID stuff? Like, how have you dealt with all that, not being able to obviously do as much as that you would normally have done?
Okay. We were fortunate that in our Pathways program, we just had 2 final weeks to complete of the Pathways program, which is a 9-week program. So the staff managed that through phone consultations with each of the women who were participating in that. So we completed that. In relation to the financial counselling, like, we're very fortunate in the office space that we've got. And so we've been able to continue face-to-face financial counselling within the COVID-19 guidelines. We have about 10
Beautiful.
square metres per person.
Awesome.
And
Awesome.
and because this is a really tricky time for women and families at the moment, not only existing women who are going through a domestic or family violence crisis situation, but new people as well. So we're getting quite a lot of phone calls. So we're managing that. So yes, we're trying to keep our services going, but meeting all of the COVID-19 requirements of government. We're also now planning for when we can go back, and we're hoping in July that we'll be able to start our Pathways program again. So we've prepared our program so that if need be, we can do it remotely. But hopefully we can still do face-to-face, because it is that group connectivity that is really important for women to be able to have. I think a lot of people, why technology is good and its ability to be able to see each other through the computers or whatever, is sometimes the connectiveness of being with someone that assists people to heal. As we know, like, some of the wonderful stuff that happens through your organisation, through, healing, massaging, making you feel important and stuff like that is really important as well.
That is so true, Kay, and I have to tell you, I'll just digress a little bit, is I have told the members of my church that when we can actually meet again, that we're going to have to find someone with a soft landing, because I'm a hugger and I'm missing the personal touch, so I'm going to have to run at them, and yeah, they're going to have a soft landing. So just to digress a little bit. But yeah, so that's amazing. So I'm really curious, because I don't actually know the answer to this question, but how did you find out about Healing Through Love, and how did you become involved with us?
Okay, so how I found out about it was that I think you have you were going to have a session coming up, but unfortunately it was cancelled because of the COVID-19. And so I Googled you. So good old Mr. Google.
Nice to know the Google.
And I'm thinking, I've got an invitation to attend. And I thought, I better find out. So it was just lovely to know that there's women out there supporting women. And it's really important because a lot of our women do struggle. They do struggle to be able to have that bit of support and pampering and stuff like that. So it's really, we're thrilled to be able to be involved.
We thank you so very much that you are. So so first of all, when we can go back and when we can actually hold the Pamper Day, what will you be doing on the day? Do you know? Will you be holding a stall? Will you be there for support? How will you be paying it forward?
So we'll do a combination of things. First of all, we let our clients know that the session's on, so that there's a bit of social media around that, so that we can let them know. We'll attend with a stall and have some brochures, and I was going to be there so that we could talk about our programs, or if anyone was interested to understand about Zahra, with some information and support if I can make cups of tea or
awesome.
Help people, happy. Yeah, we're happy to be there.
That is fantastic. So tell us now. You said you're a not-for-profit. So how can people, if they would like to donate to the Zahra Foundation, how can they get involved? Where can they find you?
Okay, so we've just got our new website, which has been recently released. So I welcome everyone to go to Zahra Foundation, all one word, .org.au. And go through our website and see our programs, what we offer. There is a donate button on the front page, and you can just push on the donate button, and that'll take you through to our platform for donations. And we're just ever so grateful. Like, we get donations, from $5 a week, which is just amazing, up to, a couple of $100. So sometimes it's just something triggers something in someone's mind. They might have had a friend or a colleague who's struggling or whatever. But every dollar really helps us. 80% of our funding actually comes from donations. So that's really important for us. And we're certainly happy to help organisations if people need any further information on how they can support their workplace around domestic and family violence. Our co-founders, in Amman and Atena quite often do sessions with executives in organisations to raise awareness around domestic and family violence as well. So.
Beautiful. Look, Kate, thank you so much. It has been an absolute pleasure to talk to you. And I think this is, actually, I know this is a match made in heaven, given that we both have a very, very, similar goal, and that, we look after the same people. So thank you so much for coming on today. And I really sincerely do look forward to meeting you in person and seeing you at the Pamper Day whenever we manage to hold it. We're hoping to do one in September.
Okay, I'll be ready for the hug.
Oh, definitely, yeah. We'll make sure we're outside in the grass, okay?
Okay. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you
having
so
us.
much.
Thank you.
Okay, so that was Kate. That was an amazing. Now, I believe that Rose is in the background, and I'm hoping that she's going to be able to play a little ad for us to thank our sponsors today. Let's see how we go. So much, Rose. Oh, I think I'm back. Here we go. Okay. Thank you, Rose. That was beautiful. That's beautiful. And I would like to actually personally thank Be Live TV and My Time TV for sponsoring this show for us as well. It is, we very, very much appreciate it from myself, Charlene and Rose. Now, our second amazing guest today is Annie Hutchins. Now, she runs Crystal Divination, and I'm not going to explain what she does. I'm going to actually let her do that. So let's welcome Annie today. Annie, are you there? Hoping she's here. Oh, there you are.
Yeah. Hello, how are you?
Hello, Annie. It's lovely to cyber meet you.
Yes. Lovely to be invited on.
Oh, beautiful, darling. So tell us, Annie, so you said you run Crystal Divination. Tell us a little bit about what that is and what you do.
Okay, so basically I read crystals, not unlike people who read tarot and other mediums, except that I use crystals to do readings. It's actually known as lithomancy, which is a very ancient form of scrying. And they used to do a similar thing. They just have certain rocks, stones, crystals, and they would, cast them down and do a reading for people in ancient times. Wow. It dates back to around 800 BC, so it's a very ancient way of doing readings. However, in modern times, I'm not as familiar with a lot of people doing it. I know there's only a couple of us who do it at markets, but I'm not familiar with too many people doing crystal readings.
So forgive my ignorance, because this type of thing really intrigues me. So tell us, like, how you go about it. Like, when you have your clients, do they need to bring their own crystals? How does it work?
Okay, so just a little background on it. I was told to do this by a medium, and I had no idea initially what I was going to do. So I understood the basic concept, and I've really developed my own specific techniques out of that. I do offer two types of readings. One I offer at markets because it's a very quick and easy reading to do at a market, and that's where I've got a grouping of crystals that I've chosen. So I've got around 40 to 50 crystals that I display on a board, and out of those, the person chooses 5 crystals, and so I then spread those 5 crystals and do a reading based on those 5 crystals. Now, generally with those readings, what I find is that a couple of the crystals will indicate an issue for the person, and 10 times out of 10 actually, the person's aware of that particular issue because they know what's going on in their life. So that touches earth with a lot of them initially, because they know it's an issue and they should be doing something about it, but quite often they're really not quite sure how to go about that. So what I find is that as I move through the reading, the rest of the reading helps them to know what direction to take or what things to do to help them get through this issue or to resolve the issue. And then the final crystal is usually an indication of what will be the outcome for them. So generally that's, they'll have more clarity, or they'll just generally move forward with their lives, which is why I like that particular reading so much, because it focuses on one issue for the person, but it gives them an outcome. It sort of says to them that Spirit's guiding you to do this, to resolve this. And if you follow what you've gained out of the reading, you will resolve it and move forward with your life. And I just find it's a really lovely personal reading in that respect. The second reading I do is one that I came up with myself. I'm not an astrologer, but I have I've studied and have a background in astrology. So I've designed a board, which is behind me. I'm not sure you'll be able to see it, but I've designed a board that has the 12 houses of astrology on it. I then chose crystals that represent the planets in astrology, and I also chose crystals to represent the chakras of the body. Now, the reason for this was that there's nothing really that isn't covered in a person's life. The houses of astrology cover all the aspects of a person's life. The planets are very much about what's going on for the person. The planets' personalities indicate, again, areas of their life that things are happening in. And the chakras of the body, and I'm not sure of your audience how many will actually know or understand the chakras, but they're energy centers in our body, and they each represent a different aspect of our personality. So between those 3 combinations, I get a very intense and very full reading of a person's life. So because these are such a full and intense reading, I don't offer them at markets because they can take at least an hour, sometimes a little bit longer, to to do the reading, because it is really very intense and very specific, and has a lot of information come out of it. But that one is, whereas the 5 crystals is very much about one issue for a person, this covers the person's whole life. So it is very, very extensive in its reading.
That's incredible. I think, I mean, you've sold me. Where as soon as we can, I'll be coming to see you. Trust me. So, well, and in that, tell me how you're dealing with the situation at the moment. How has it affected your readings, and are you able to do them?
No, well, not basically no. I haven't. One, because the markets haven't been running.
Right.
And that was a fairly extensive area for me in doing the smaller readings. The astrology readings are just to personal contact. Like, I can't really. Well, I couldn't. I say I can't. I couldn't see a way to do them without that, sort of close contact. However, while COVID's been on, apart from having a little bit of a rest and a break, I've been working on how I can actually do them online.
Right.
Well, I'm a very hands-on, personal contact type person. So for me, it was really important to have that personal contact and, be close to the person while I did the readings. However, because of COVID and I guess in a sense moving forward for the readings, I've realised that I can energetically, once I know who the person is and get a little bit of information about the person, I can energetically cast the crystals onto the board for them. And I am sure that the crystals will land where they are meant to for the person to do the reading. Now, the one I won't do and can't do is the 5 crystal readings, purely because the person needs to select those crystals. And I feel that needs to have a very intimate one-on-one connection with the crystals. However, the astrology readings, I feel I can do online. So I'm just about at the stage where I'm ready to be able to take online astrology readings with the awareness that they're going to take at least an hour or so to do online. But I think I can do that, do them that way.
Fantastic. I'm so happy that you are still finding a way to kind of get on it and obviously do what you love.
Just have to be inventive.
We do. I think we've all done that a fair bit, haven't we?
Yeah.
Annie, I'm really curious as how you came across Healing Through Love, and obviously when we get back together, hopefully you will be a stall there.
Yeah. Well, actually, it was quite interesting. It was while I was studying. I'm a qualified kinesiologist, so I do therapy work as well. However, I was studying, and a friend I was studying with got asked if she'd be interested in doing some short kinesiology sessions at one of your Pamper days, and she asked me if I'd like to go along with her, with the intent of the two of us combining to do some short kinesiology sessions. Anyway, I sort of just started to come into doing these crystal readings, so I took the crystals along more as this is something else that I can do or offer. And I spent the whole day. Doing readings, and my poor friend, I felt so bad afterwards, got stuck with a whole day of kinesiology. She was totally exhausted at the end of the day, and I felt really bad for her. But it just surprised me. People wanted to know what it was about and wanted readings. So from there, it grew, and I've been asked to come back, and I just love what it's about. I love the support. other side of that is that I have been affected by domestic abuse, and my youngest daughter more so needed a lot of assistance to get out of her abusive marriage. So I've had a personal connection as well, and I just have a real heart for these women and men. There are men too, but the people who really are suffering in these relationships and really sometimes don't know how to get out of them. So I have a passion there as well, which is why I'm so keen to help wherever I can.
Oh, I'm so excited. As I said before, you have sold me. I can't wait to come and have one of your crystal readings, because I myself personally, I'm not going to by any means say that I'm an expert, but I have kind of been self-taught, if you like, in a lot of things to do with crystals, but I wouldn't say I'm an expert like you. So certainly as soon as we can, and maybe at the Pamper Day in September, I will be coming straight to your stall.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
And you can tell me all about myself. How does that sound?
Well, I'll tell you what's going on in your life anyway.
That sounds good. That sounds awesome.
Can I just quickly say, I think part of the reason the crystal readings are so potent, is the word I'd use, is because crystals connect to people. They have a vibrational energy, and their vibrational energy connects with our vibrational energy. So no matter what you think about the crystals you choose or how you throw them onto the board, those crystals are connecting directly with the person who's having the reading. So there's a real potency in that. It's a very, very intimate connection between the crystal and the person.
Awesome. Fantastic. Yep. I'm in. So just quickly, Annie, just tell us how people can, if they're interested in your online services, how can they get in contact with you?
Look, I think really the best way for anyone to connect with me initially, no matter what they want, whether it's information or a booking or whatever, is through my Facebook page, which is Crystal Divination. It is the only crystal divination on Facebook that I'm aware of, so I don't think it's too hard to find me. I'm not a huge person to keep track all the time and be up there every day, but they can certainly get all the information they need and can connect with me directly through Messenger, which I keep with regularly. So it seems to be, for me, the best avenue for people to connect with me. And I can certainly answer anyone's questions.
Oh, I think you can. I know you can. Look, thank you so much for coming on today, and it's been a real pleasure to talk to you. And Lynn Palmer says she loves crystals, so I'm with you, Lynn.
I just saw that. That's awesome. I want to spread the word about crystals.
We will help you do that. We will certainly help you do that. And that's what this show is all about. So thank you so much for coming on, Annie. We look forward to seeing you in person in September.
I look forward to seeing you as well, Ali. Thank you for the invitation.
No problem, my darling.
Okay.
So that is our show today, everyone. So thank you so much for joining us. And I would just like to say that if you are interested in helping out with healing through love yourself, if you would like to, you can actually get in contact with us via our email address, which is htladelaide@gmail.com. Hopefully that'll be scrolling up, because I didn't get that totally right, but that's okay. Or you can go to our Facebook page. So that is how you can become involved. Now, we are after any help we can get. All the people coming on this show are actually coming on, they're helping us by paying it forward with their business services. So if you are interested in doing that, when you actually do come on, when you actually sign up as an exhibitor or a person or volunteer for the Pamper Day, you will actually be able to come on the show and share your services and be interviewed, just like Annie and Kay were today. So thank you for joining us, everyone, today, and we will see you again next week, same time, same channel, at 1 o'clock. Okay, bye.